Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCS. It's Spring Split 2024. It's week number 2. It's day number 2. It's game number 3. And it's FlyQuest going up against NRG. I'm Captain Flowers. I am joined by Kobe and special guest star Raz. Tagging in from the lounge to join us for the TriCast here today. Gentlemen, how are we feeling about this one?
I mean, fresh off the banger.
Yeah, we just had the Vayne mid versus Sion mid, so I'm expecting some extra creative stuff. Maybe Inspired will hit us with his famous Fiddlesticks.
That would be
Something
nice.
like that.
Okay.
We haven't had the Fiddlesticks come out, the Grub Destroyer. But let's get right into it. FlyQuest versus NRG. This is a super hype matchup with how these two teams have been doing. I mean, FlyQuest are another one of these undefeated teams, and NRG have actually been on a tear ever since they started out with just that loss to Cloud9. They bounce back really quickly.
Yeah, for FlyQuest specifically, I was surprised at how dominant their games have been. I think coming into this split, people looked at NRG and C9. NRG for obvious reasons, LCS champion, well, for C9, super team. FlyQuest came in stomping. I really enjoyed their drafts. Their counter picks have been really strong in 4-5, so I'm interested going into this game versus NRG if we could see something interesting.
I've also just loved the interviews and the podcast appearance and the quotes that have come out of the FlyQuest members.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are overwhelming confidence right now. Jensen just talking smack everywhere. Multiple FlyQuest members saying NRG winning last year was a fluke. So now is their time to actually prove it.
Hey, they're talking trash, but they're also really excited and they're working really hard. Yesterday, after their game, I saw Bwipo tweeting about how, man, he loves going on social media after the games and seeing that his teammates are already reviewing, already looking back to see what they could have done better. Even if they're already winning, they want to be winning more. We're through the first half of the bans. The Orianna kept away from Jensen. Yesterday, we mentioned how he's got like an 80% win rate on that almost lifetime. So that's fanned out. Vi, the newly empowered Karma with all the buffs is taken off the table. Yone, Jace, and Ashe banned out by FlyQuest with Kalista locked in first for FBI.
I expected the Kalista pick. If you've seen FBI and Huhi historically, they have been a really strong, chaotic duo. So Kalista with really creative support options. Usually with Huhi would go towards, and I'm talking about a year, 2 years ago, a Mumu, Set, things like that. So even if you go into 4-5 and start banning away the obvious options, he has a lot more in the tank.
Yeah, he's definitely going to look for some of that engage support champion list that goes very deep for him. Meanwhile, FlyQuest with the answer here. Generally, you know, with Ashe already being banned out as one of the premier answers into Kalista because the slow is so effective, though, grabbing the Varus up here should be massive for them. Technically, we could leave the door open for the flex pick of the Varus, as we saw previously in the solo lanes, but this is definitely going bottom lane.
Yeah, Mirwin with the Varus top lane. We saw a hell of a lot of that in Champions Queue as well, so it could just follow. FlyQuest just last game went towards the Karma flex picks. In just general, I feel like they're a really flex-heavy team, so it's going to be interesting. I love myself some Corki. I know you guys have been hating on the pick, but stop it.
I've been hating on Corki for years.
Well, it is just such a quintessential Jensen-like pick. You know, the Azir, the Orianna, the Corki, these control mages, these long-range scaling AP DPS for mid lane. And then Corki always pairs so nicely when you have a Varus and you're assuming it's going lethality Varus.
Yep.
So then you have alternating damage types for your poke.
Lots and lots of poke between those two. What does NRG want to lock in here during their second part of the draft? Cassante, a very reliable frontliner there, gonna go ahead and lock that one in. They know they can take it into pretty much any matchup. I don't think Dhokla is going to be afraid of a whole lot with that one.
I'm excited because Bwipo is going to have his hand at another early counter pick possibility, and Bwipo has gone very, very deep into the counter pick territory. We saw the Mordekaiser already from him as well, so very excited what Bwipo is going to be able to pull out here because he's had success on the Olaf counter pick, the Mordekaiser counter pick. So I really think the coaching staff is going to give him a long leash to really explore that with.
Yeah, and I mean, he looks like he's just having a lot of fun while playing the game. Like, when you had the Mordekaiser pick into Impact's Cassante, and he ended up making one mistake, he blew flash, but you see it like in his cam to see if he's having any reaction. No, he's laughing. He's just realizing he made a mistake, but just overall, for the rest of the game, he started to tear it up. So let's see what he has as an option as a counter pick.
Well, we got Azir. picked into Corki.
That's one off my bingo list, thank you.
If we do one of those community polls where we ask what lane they want to watch, you guys aren't allowed to pick mid. We're just going to ignore it. You
Don't
can
give them
pick
the
bot,
choice.
or you can pick top. You can pick jungle. You can pick fountain, but not mid.
To be devil's advocate, even though Azir is so popular and is basically omnipresent in pro play, always picked, it's actually, to me, is definitely one of the more fun control mages because you have those int moments possible for the Shurima shuffles and actually has a lot of playmaking abilities. So definitely makes the game fun, especially paired with a Kalista bottom lane there for NRG. We didn't actually get the lock-in for Huhi support because of what you were talking about. His champ was so deep that they're dropping their support pick to 4 or 5 here for NRG. And that allows FlyQuest to try and throw some bans at the support role. They're throwing out the obvious ones here with the Nautilus and stuff, but as you said, Huhi definitely can still bring out the set, the Amumu, and any of these sorts of things.
Well, they've got the Sejuani locked in for FlyQuest, some front lines, some engage. That way they're not just stuck only having to play poke. They can still pull the trigger themselves if they see the opportunity to go for something. Olaf banned away by NRG. That's one of those types of picks that I think Bwipo would be totally fine slamming down if he thinks it's the answer in one of these topside matchups.
Yeah, his Olaf last time looked really good. In his interview afterwards, he talked about his view on the champion as well and having more of a scaling route than most people think of with a champion. You're always thinking about good pairings with Sejuani when you have the early Sejuani pick for your top lane counter picks, and that's definitely one that would make Dhokla a little bit scared.
Yeah, and he generally goes towards something a lot more beefy, like at least from what we've seen so far. So he just wants to, even just hearing about how he talks about counter picks, he oftentimes is not talking about, oh, I don't care about counter picking the pick. I'm thinking about counter picking the enemy team composition. So now that you're seeing a Kalista and you're seeing a Cassante, just generally you could go for something like the Olaf that you're talking about. Anything that can just access the backline or just, Udyr is available. Just throwing that out there. I know people are not a fan of that pick either, but they could just pick it up just to create more front line for Massu here.
Well, the Aatrox, the last ban of the draft for NRG.
Darius got buffs on this patch.
Second phase bans targeted towards Bwipo, towards that top side. This is a pick that I would enjoy seeing. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Darius locked in on the live patch for FlyQuest and Bwipo.
Okay, this is actually a perfect example of live patch immediately having an effect. Some of the other picks have been like, borderline, these smaller things, but Darius and Garen both got really nice buffs for this patch, and immediately we're going to see that give Bwipo the confidence here to lock it in versus the Cassante. Your ultimate is super good in answer if Cassante tries to do some Cassante stuff to you, but the Ivern is definitely something that's been overlooked a lot on this patch with the buffs to the Enchanter support items. He is thriving. Ivern right now, definitely a super complementary jungle pick here to a Kalista Azir duo carry from NRG.
So a lot of my focus is going to be on Palafox's Azir here because he's going to be the one that's creating a lot of space for NRG. And we're talking about what they're going to need to win these team fights. It's kiting back on Darius that is going to be my focus. So you see the Sejuani, you see the Darius. I think it's going to be on Palafox here to be strong in this game. If he's weak, then it's going to be really easy to crush FBI.
Since we have some extra time here with the full lock-ins, we can go more in depth on the Darius buffs that actually did happen. They were really tank focused as well for tank matchups, because the buffs that he got were the extra 5% armor penetration on his E on Apprehend, which is obviously going to always help versus the Cassante up there directly in the 1v1, and the healing off of your Q on Decimate. Yeah, they buffed the mana as well, but really the healing allows you to have that extra sustain here through the lane versus Cassante. So even when he does get low, having that missing health per target healing get buffed as well. I'm so excited for this. I want to see if he goes with the Flash Ghost to Darius for top lane.
Oh, hell no.
Oftentimes it's funny because we discuss top laners and we're like, well, it's really nice to have a top laner that plays for your team, right? And is willing to, be a side character basically. But if you're picking Darius like this, Darius is a main character lock-in. So I want to see some main character summoner spells on him as well.
Bwipo's performance in this game could have one of the greatest impacts on solo queue in North America for the next couple of days that we've ever seen. Since we're on the live patch, if somebody at home sees this and he pops off, they're going straight into solo queue and playing it, man.
I think there's a collective groan there where people just don't want to deal with psychopath top laners in general. Trinimir's one of them. Darius is another. It's going to be hinging on this one, and it reminds me of Adam's picks constantly in the LEC there. So it's going to be nice to see how Bwipo is going to be able to show it here versus Dhokla.
All right, we're loading into the game. We're ready to go, and I can confirm for both of y'all, it is Flash, Ghost, Darius. There is no teleport here. This man is ready for mobility. He is ready to run these dudes down.
But I'm glad it was not ruined by competitive play here. We don't have to run the teleport. We're going full mobility to really get the most out of this counter pick.
All right, a quick reminder to everybody, after the show is wrapped up today, we will be rating Dhokla's stream after the broadcast for some AMA and a gameplay. So depending on how this game goes, y'all might want to ask him some questions about the Darius matchup. Definitely going to be a spicy one coming into this game.
Everyone get out your notepad now. Start writing down these questions as we progress through the game. Dhokla, what happened level 1? I noticed that Bwipo was behind you in your jungle. Looks like he has not been scouted there. Bwipo doing some good intel work here versus a Ivern jungle. Ivern jungle is always one of the really frustrating ones for most junglers to play against because you can have an extremely quick first clear for Ivern if nobody invades you, nobody messes up your channels.
Yeah.
As long as you save your smite for those Krugs and you just do the blue side, wolf start, channel all your stuff, go over, channel in your Raptors and then your red, go backwards, pick everything up. As long as nobody messes with any of your channels, then you can be one of the earliest and you can end on that bottom side of the map where the duo lanes are where most of the ganks occur with the changes to Summoner's Rift. And Ivern really thrives in this, gets down there early, has the extra shields, and especially if you're running a Kalista Rell lane, it's just like this early game should be super easily set up for NRG to have a full clear Ivern ending up towards bottom side really early on, but Bwipo has some ideas.
And I like the fact that you're talking about the bottom side because I think it's an interesting comparison. We talked in week 1 about how FBI and Huhi have played 75% of their careers together. Hold on now. We don't even have time to talk about it. Bwipo just went over the wall with a blast cone, and I don't think he's going to get to plant those groves how he wants. Meanwhile, 2v2 in the bottom side, Massu under pressure. FBI and Huhi going in. Massu's got a lot of spears in him. Looks like a pin cushion. FBI, not enough damage to get the kill, but immediate lane control for NRG's duo. Inspired coming down to back him up, though. Massu and Busio trying to keep this fight going as Huhi wants to get away, but Massu don't want to let him. Inspired leads the charge, but FBI's got the first blood, and now he's getting himself back away. Beautifully done, but it's going to be traded back. Massu, it's a 1-for-1. It's blood in the bottom lane at 2 minutes.
Oh, hell yes. I love this. This is my kind of game. No full clears, Captain Flowers. Son of...
They're not happy about this one, guys.
So we had the GIF from yesterday when we had the pause from Dhokla's point of view, which was perfect. His WTF face turning around. Now we have a Bwipo one as well. Hopefully, of course, we can get everything sorted out fairly quickly. Let me look at the all chat for you all. FBI is unhappy with it, and then Inspired's at least saying timing no summoner spells here for Kalista.
FBI says, wow, come on, bro. To which Inspired responds, ... Kalista no sums. We've got some...
Also,
in all chat.
Also, he says Sejuani is indeed a fan, so he's like, I'm coming back to gank you.
Yeah.
Don't worry, buddy. But yeah, the level 2, there was so much action level 1. As a jungler, you have to be ready to react to those things. So Inspired comes down right after blue buff. Flashes on them, and they do get the 1-for-1, but I still would say super good stuff from FBI there, sniping out the first blood, actually getting the kill, because Busio was getting all hyped up with the chase. He's like, we got the jungler coming, and we'll take a look at the replay. Here you go.
Yeah. All right, walk me through it, Raz. What's going on?
So, I mean, I guess they're just going for the all-in, because at this point, we didn't see this, but Huhi does go on to Massu here. And I'm trying to figure out at what point in which Sejuani is walking down. It's going to be after blue.
Yeah, of course. Like they want to get as much out of this level 1 health trade as possible because you're running the Kalista Rell here. They know they have the early advantage. And you mentioned how Huhi's always looking for these engages, trying to get them started out early, trying to get some summoner spells down for themselves. But knowing that they had full vision on the Ivern start, having Bwipo up there have visual confirmation, and Inspire just come straight down level 2, usually you're worried about your jungler giving up other, camps, getting counter ganks like that. There's the FBI kill, by the way. Very good job by him, although it does end up costing him both summer spells and his life. Still, it's always so nice for your bottom lane to be able to get a 2v3 first blood. And summoner spells also offensively used by FlyQuest, by Massu there. So still quite good for the energy side.
And we've seen a lot of Enchanter use so far this split, so it's a great reminder of just how flash happy you're going to be as a Hex Flash user when you have an aggressive bot lane there. So it did get punished for it, but usually you'd get a sum off of it one. So overall, great job there.
All right, update for y'all on the pause. It's a quick adjustment for a hardware issue I've been told on the stage. We should be back to the game pretty soon. Hopefully, because this is about the most exciting start we could have asked for. And what I was going to talk about ended up coming to fruition right in front of us. The comparison between FBI and Huhi, these guys who have played together so much, like they've got that synergy together, going up against Massu and Busio, these guys that everybody's seeing as really promising prospects. And I'm reminded of what Doublelift was talking about back in week 1, skill versus synergy. Like synergy,
yes.
He was talking about how synergy gets overplayed in terms of its importance sometimes. And the first thing is you just got to have the hands for it. And so FBI and Huhi are saying, we've got this. We can immediately go in. Let's force it on them. And Massu and Busio, despite the fact that they lose the initial trade, they're like, all right, let's just hands check them. Let's fight back, see what we can get here, bring Inspired down, make the fight go further. Ends up being a 1-for-1, real close contest.
And that was a question that we had for both Massu and Busio coming into the split. Because, of course, Massu coming in as a rookie, Busio having at least 1 year's experience. The question was going to be how their laning phase was going to fare, because they were going to be the focus. They were going to be the carries of the team with just generally how the playstyle is going to go for Jensen and Bwipo. And they've been playing really well. Same with, honestly, against Team Liquid, the Ezreal Karma, I thought, was something that I was really impressed with in a pretty aggressive lane matchup.
Yeah. All right, we actually have Doublelift's. I believe we got the clip of Doublelift talking about it. So since we're still in the pause, let's go ahead and roll that. Hear what Doublelift had to say specifically.
Let's just say like you're playing bot lane in a little mini game. Like mini games being like pushing the wave and resetting at the right time, getting your wave in a good position for a gank, getting a good trade-off. Every bot lane is like playing for this thing, right? And so like really what matters is like player skill a little bit more honestly than the synergy between your support, because like the execution is so important, just like the little advantages that you get if your support does something differently.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. That's what he's saying. Despite the fact that these guys may have 12,000 games together, as long as you at least know what's going on, know how to deal with this approach from the Kalista and the Rell going full psycho mode at level 1, you're still going to be able to brawl that out. You're still going to go even with these guys. You've got Inspired coming down there. I love the fact that FlyQuest is ready for it. Again, Kobe, like you pointed out, they already know because Darius took his big old axe to go chop down the tree at level 1. They know that he's not coming, so you might as well bring the extra dude.
Yeah, and the only thing you have to be worried about is when you do have those spears in you, and Busio's walking forward and he's got all these previous Kalista auto attacks sticking out of him, just sticking in range there and getting rended down for the first blood. So nice for the energy side. And that does mean that even though they blew the Ivern flash early, Ivern knows the Inspired's down on the bottom side of the map, and the Darius Invader is now easily 1v1'd and handled and kept in lane by Dhokla. So Ivern's going to be able to go over and counter jungle after the bottom little skirmish here. So say goodbye to your red Inspired.
Yeah. And the tough part too is we ended up seeing Bwipo use Ghost for that invade. And because you're going to have Contractz basically above you, he's going to be taking your camps. There is an option of a gank up topside. So Bwipo is going to be aware of that. That is the overall concern, is that yes, you did invade, and because of the early level 1 action, you're likely now going to be the target with a Ghost down, so he has to just play a little bit more safe. That's all.
Okay, update. It sounds like the hardware thing is mostly done. They're just checking to make sure that it didn't impact anything in the game thus far. Luckily, we've only had 2 minutes and 12 seconds of game, so there's not a whole lot to go through. It's not like one of those full situations, 20 minutes or whatever. Hopefully, we can get back into the game ASAP. Kalista without the flash, Contractz without the flash, Bwipo without the Ghost, Inspired used his flash, Massu's got nothing. Lots of summoner spells were used in all this early PvP, so I'm hoping, like we may have been hinted towards in Inspired's all chat, we're going to see some return visits from some junglers for some more action.
Kobe, I have a question for you. This is the second time that we've seen this happen for Bwipo, where he gets an early invade off. Just talk about that a little bit and the impact that could have.
I mean, it basically, if you're the jungler that has a top laner doing for that, it feels so free. It feels like you've got a clone of yourself doing work on the other side of the map. Usually junglers always have to balance the entire, both sides of the map and try and plan out their route to ping pong back and forth. But if your top laner has that much of an advantage, or if they're able to push out the wave and then go for these invades, then harass the enemy jungler, it just makes the game 10 times easier for you to play because you've got that extra hand on the other side of the map. So always feels really good. In this case, though, it actually probably won't end up being that big.
Yes.
They blew the Ivern flash, but Contractz flashed pretty early, so he didn't take a lot of damage. Sometimes the really annoying thing for Ivern early clear is if you do take a lot of damage, then you're not going to have enough HP to channel all your camps that you want to get that super fast first clear. But unless his flash gets punished in the first 5 minutes of this game, then it probably is going to be just him stealing away the red buff here, then coming back down. And I want to see if Inspired can do anything about the sort of kind of delayed and awkward setup for the channels. If there's any sort of re-invade, maybe he can work off of a secondary, like Bwipo pushes third, fourth wave or something like that, and then helps him go for the re-invade on some of those channeled camps. Because otherwise, he's going to have a lot less of the map to work with.
Yeah, exactly. I do like the fact that he went for the fast flash as soon as he saw the Darius come over the wall. Sometimes you can be tempted to get a little bit greedy, think, okay, what if I just throw the root collar at him and try to walk away? But no, he's ghosted. He already took the blast cone. Just get the hell out of town. You're not getting away from this guy. And ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the pause has been resolved. Get this sepia filter out of here, and let's get back into some League of Legends. NRG versus FlyQuest, 2 minutes and 15 seconds into the game. Tied up 1-1. Inspired and Massu still down here in the bot lane. Health bar's low, but with FBI having been killed, they're not too worried about Huhi.
Yeah, they just got to finish pushing the wave in here because the wave is going to be in a kind of a tough spot. Contractz comes over after stealing that red to make a pass on Jensen, but it's just going to be that.
And overall, FBI doesn't lose too much. I think the slight Hex Flash from Huhi, and it was just such a large wave for both Massu and Inspired to clear that he was able to come here for the bulk of the wave.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty great for FBI because he got the Rend first blood, and then he comes back, and the big old wave is right in front of his tower. FBI is actually chilling here. Feels quite nice. I wonder what they can do off of it. Contractz, it looks like after passing through mid, is going to easily be able to get all of his channeled blue side camps as well. So the Ivern should be in a very nice position to be able to end up back towards that bottom side like we stated earlier. And then now them having such a good, minion wave state, definitely could be an opportunity here for NRG to really channel some aggressive bottom side stuff into dragon stacking for this game.
Yeah, I would expect to see NRG playing around that bottom side like you're talking about. Top lane, you could see it was Bwipo with early control over the lane, crashing a massive wave into the turret. Farm still even between the two of them. Thing is, with those, when you're playing Darius, you just have to remember to not accidentally take the turret aggro with the bleed when you're pushing, shoving the wave up, making sure that it crashes into the turret. Now that Dhokla's back out from underneath that, they could be in more of those open and fair fights. Busio's still level 1 in bottom lane. Yes.
Yeah, the bottom lane now, you can see on the bounce back with the big wave here, it's easy for Contractz to come over and move into the river. For Ivern, you usually use your smite on the Krugs since it's such an annoying camp there and you don't want to do the early channel because you won't have enough HP. So smite's on the Krugs, but because his bottom lane is winning, they're even looking for possible dives.
Inspired has to stay here. He recognizes that the dive is very possible with the slow push, and it's going to be tough with Busio level 1, as you mentioned.
Oh,
so
man.
Here he is.
Oh, man. Okay, let's see. It's a level 1, a level 2, a level 3 versus 3, 3, and 4. The level's absolutely in NRG's favor, but FlyQuest have had this knowledge for a good while now, so it looks like NRG's going to go ahead, call this one off. Jensen is back in base now, just took his recall, so he would be able to teleport down even if he needed to, but instead he will just return back into the mid lane as Dhokla gets some very effective trading off against Bwipo as he's got control over the top side now with Contractz, making his way towards mid lane, just guaranteeing that Palafox gets this crash.
Yeah, guess what? Contractz has another smite up. That should be another counter jungle. One more camp. Thank you very much. And Inspired, even though it is the correct play, you have to go hover your bottom side there or else they're gonna get dove. Like, you have to protect them. It's so painful whenever you know that as a jungler and you're just gonna individually get so far behind, especially versus something like Ivern that can be so abusive once he gets to level 6, once he gets the Daisy. It is just really annoying to deal with. So we'll see what the multiple region MVP inspired can pull out of his back pocket here because Contractz has a massive jungle lead, and first one to tier 2 boots with the extra cooldown reduction here and a Dark Seal on top of it. Contractz is definitely feeling very good.
Plus, Ivern only shops at the bargain bin. All of his items are normally made for enchanter supports. Everybody else is having to buy items that cost, 2,800, 3,000 gold. Ivern's like, sure, I'll just take this piece of junk that costs 2,000. It's gonna work great for me.
And it's like he got discounts on all this designer stuff. Like, because they got buffs in this season, the items are actually still very good. They're cheap and they're good.
That's tough to deal with, man. Especially when it's 39-16 in farm. Inspire trying to go into the bot side river as Palafox jumps in after Jensen, swoops him right on back, and the crash down from Huhi's gonna follow it up. Jensen tries to get away. Huhi ends up taking the kill, but it's NRG up 2-1.
What a great roam from Huhi. He recognized that Inspired was going to be going for the Scuttle Crab and that they were positioning for it. Palafox recognized it, got a great scoop, a huge lead for NRG, and it feels like it's keep going.
All right, Contractz making his way down here, plants some brush underneath the turret. Huhi drawing that turret aggro a little before he would have liked to. Palafox about to show up. Busio still level 3, and Huhi goes to the engage for the crash down. Surely he will die here. Massu surviving with a bailout. This could go real bad real fast as Palafox also drops. FlyQuest gonna get a 2-for-1 on that one. NRG a bit too sloppy.
Thank you, Bailout. Thank you, Bailout. Palafox has to stay in there a little bit longer to be able to secure the kill after the bailout, and so then they end up getting the kill onto the Azir. That's much needed. Extra little bit of breathing room for FlyQuest. Bwipo on the move.
Bwipo and Dhokla both ghosting up. Dhokla's going all out. Bwipo needs a heal. Flash for flash. They wanted to make, not even a flash from Dhokla, a charge forward, excuse me, as Inspired gets a spear in the back. He will fall down to the bottom lane. Bwipo had to flash away to guarantee that he would be able to hit the sweet spot on the Decimate to get the heal and escape from Dhokla back in topside as Massu is jumping around by Daisy. Bwipo may just get dope, but Dhokla doesn't have any more ulti to deal with him as Massu's now under pressure from 2 again. The bailout comes through, but it will not save him this time. Huhi will at least be traded back. The kill going over to Busio. It is 9 kills in 7.5 minutes. 5-4 in NRG's favor.
A complete catastrophe. At least that FlyQuest is somewhat trading back, but overall, FBI is getting a huge lead off of it. Even with the kills going back and forth, 55-26. Massu is struggling, trying his hardest to keep alive here. Level 6 for FBI, level 4 for Massu. It's just hard for him to stay in lane.
Bot lane banger, y'all. This is a fun one. Mid lane's getting a little bored, so they want to get in on it too. Let's get some deeper trading going on. Now, neither mid laner does have flash, so honestly, junglers could think about making their moves here. Palafox is sitting on the Azir ultimate, so Jensen does have to be a little bit cognizant of that and keep his W key ready.
2,000 gold lead at 8 minutes into the game is absolutely massive, and a huge culprit for that is going to be your farm differences in both the jungle and AD carry roles. It's plus 25 for FBI and plus even more 27 for Contractz versus his matchup. Absolute control there as Jensen gets engaged on yet again. Huhi is Corki's mortal enemy here as Jensen tries to get away. The ignite keeps on ticking down and the soldier finishes the job.
People were wondering, how is it going to do? NRG, man, they won last split. They're changing the roster. They're adding Huhi back in. Huhi's been on a rampage. So much of it. This game has been bottom lane game. They're the ones who opened up the possibilities for Contractz to get so far ahead in jungle. And Ivern really paying them back. So much pressure down here on the bottom side. Huhi remaining active, goes to punish the mid lane with no flash, and now they've got priority once again.
It's a constant cycle. Palafox is also looking, but even though he's being seen on wards, there's not much that FlyQuest can do to stop them. Inspired once again is here, but can they fight it back?
Well, we got Daisy leading the charge. Huhi's gonna go in for the crash down. Shattering Strike sets it up, but FBI's under pressure. Inspired can't do enough though. FBI pulling Huhi back to him to save his support and himself at the same time. Busio barely gets away, under 100 HP left on him as Massu shoots out the rain of arrows to provide covering fire. Stop Palafox from chasing these boys, but that is one dead Poro Rider. Huhi hitting him with the auto attack into the Shattering Strike. Crash down to get away. Jensen wants to finish him off, but no! The shield from Contractz Ivern keeps Huhi alive. Jensen has got to be mad about that one.
The red side treatment in season 14 here, y'all. It's so honestly funny to watch, but in the end here, it honestly looks like it's going to be a really big snowball for NRG. After that victory on bottom side again, they're just going to have Palafox shove the wave out. They rotate their mid and support up through, or their bottom and support up through mid lane here to be able to position for some grub takes as well, I presume. Here's another look at it though. Huhi's able to finish off the kill. Does take a lot of tower shots and has to end up dodging the last rocket here, I believe. So shield is going to save him for now, and then going to throw one more rocket. Walks a little bit to the side there.
We're not done. We got supports back in mid lane yet again. This is a bloody game of League of Legends, and the blood ends up flowing into the pockets of NRG. 3,000 gold lead 10 minutes into the game.
And this is a reminder of why Kalista has just been permanently banned up until this week, where now we have to be scared of a few more picks. Is when you start snowballing, you're going to be a problem, but they're locked in FBI.
Well, I think you may have cast or cursed him, or maybe not. They throw out the hostile takeover, but it ain't enough. Busio is going to be taken down. The bailout will not save him. Palafox with a massive ulti onto two more. Massu and Inspired are not long for this world. Daisy's going to guarantee it, and Contractz gets the last hit. It's a 10-4 game. It's 4,500 gold, 11.5 minutes in. NRG are rushing FlyQuest.
This is the energy that we know and love. They think they have FBI locked down, but Contractz comes in perfectly, and the rest of NRG are able to take it. Palafox with a great sweep, theirs too. So anytime FlyQuest are trying to look for a way into this game, it's being completely buffed.
Such a good example here of how to use some early game victories on bottom side of the map, incorporate jungle, and snowball using basically everybody on the map to be able to get a really nice mid-game position here. Dragon taking up for energy as well as this large gold lead.
I like how you said basically everybody on the map.
Yeah, top laners.
We were expecting so much from top lane with this Darius lock-in. He ghosts and blast cones at level 1. And
They're having
top lane
fun, at
has
least.
just been a beautiful tropical destination up there on their island. As here's another look in mid lane where FBI almost got caught.
Yeah, he's got flash, and so he's able to flash down to Huhi here, and Huhi goes for the counter engage. Plus, they have Ivern coming behind him, so even though the hostile takeover hits, it just causes FBI to sit there auto-attacking the ward, and Huhi basically takes care of Busio and finishes it off, and then once Palafox teleports in, the genius midfielder himself does get the sweep back for 2 more kills.
Frustration on the face of Massu. It's not easy, man. The Huhi having the exact opposite reaction. He's loving his performance in this game.
A tale of 2 bottom lanes. And we're not gonna stop there.
Huhi might not be so happy after this one. The 3-man surprise attack, but it's immediately canceled as FBI saves it, supports it, throws him back into the magnet storm. He's gonna die! How did he not die? You gotta be kidding me! Dhokla's coming in, he's going all out! It's a 2-for-nothing for NRG. Huhi had no right to get away there, but the man did it anyway. Bwipo now going to be attacked by Contractz as Palafox and the Ivern will work together and take down the Dunkmaster before he can leave the ground. NRG is just getting everything.
Bwipo's being treated like a caged beast in the top lane. Meanwhile, bot lane has just been insane. You're right. Huhi's been incredible. Okay.
All right,
Put your hands up, FBI.
Jensen's coming in. Surely this is a kill. It has to be a kill. It was almost a trade. But finally, FlyQuest are going to get one without trading something back there.
All right. FlyQuest has to rally now. You gotta do the hard work, okay? Because NRG are running away with this game.
There's a lot of work.
So this is challenge hard mode now. FlyQuest, they got a shutdown, all right? The light at the end of the tunnel there is starting to show up. This one is ridiculous how Huhi decides to go back in and then simply with his aftershock, with his shield that he gets, he's able to even walk out after re-engaging to set up for the teleport from Dhokla down and allowing them to get the extra kills. And then they're just making moves all over the map. Daisy's going to be able to really cause some problems with Bwipo here because the knockout comes through, even though he does get this Q, and then he goes for the ultimate, dies in the air with the extra damage. So it doesn't go off. And he knows just how this game has gone already with the first...
He just can't stop laughing.
Huhi is having the time of his life in this game. He was even strong enough to survive the caster curse. It looked like we were talking about all his fun and it was about to end. And then he lives with 1 HP for I literally do not know how. I actually do not understand.
It's that meme of the bus and, well, never mind. We're going to have another fight here.
There's no time for the bus unless it's the one running over top of Bwipo. The pain train has arrived, and Huhi is the conductor. NRG is completely taking FlyQuest off the rails.
Yeah, that bus is packed with NRG members and their fans.
It's a party bus.
Oh, man, and it's going to be a Rift Herald, too. So I think the Rift Herald is the bus. So anyone who wants to hop into that one.
Oh, yeah. Who's going to be the bus driver? Because
Not me. I'm not very good at it.
Yeah? You're the jungler, sir.
It's hard to drive. All right, the Rift Herald's not as easy to drive as it looks. I don't think. It's.
I think it is as easy as it looks to drive, but
Palafox in a little trouble here. The burst isn't enough. He throws out the wall, but a nice shot from Massu to pick him up. The shutdown, every single bit of gold these boys can get, they need right now.
I'm going to be the FlyQuest hype man now.
Okay, FlyQuest hype man Kobe, let's go.
Let's go. We got another shutdown. Another a tower going to go down here as well. Some global gold for the scaling. Anybody? Some poke damage?
Anyone?
Corki and Varus here?
What happens when they just run at you because they're 5,000 gold ahead?
Hush.
Okay.
Hush.
Look, you've been a part of these games, too. When you are so far ahead, you start easing up a little bit. Exactly. Start goofing around. We saw those images of the NRG members, is all I'm saying. So just keep playing, find plays cross map. That's FlyQuest.
Hope they start happy gaming. That's your win con.
Just a happy moment.
Hope that NRG just plays a little too happy.
NRG are being lulled into a false sense of confidence here.
Okay.
With their giant early game lead, and they're not going to see the FlyQuest bounce back coming.
Well, Dhokla first item rushes a Thornmail to deal with both the damage and healing of the Darius as NRG stepping up, sending the Herald in mid. Nobody's going to drive it. They're just going to put it on autopilot, let it crash right into the first turret. Will they escort it all the way up to the second charge? Doesn't look like they really needed them. There we go. Charge number 2 connects. That's a lot of value.
Yeah, like FlyQuest is trying to find plays. I think the MVP for me going into this game is Huhi. Huhi is just there constantly. So the one play they tried to find on FBI, Huhi was in range. It was, of course, we already saw it and looked at the bot lane play constant amount of time. So it's just nice to see that he's there and he's performing.
So this is going to be second Drake of the game for NRG. None taken for FlyQuest. We saw that NRG got the Herald. I think that this is the first game we've had in LCS where no grubs at all were taken. There was no time for junglers to go to grubs because everything was dying in the bottom lane constantly.
Yeah, Ivern's not the biggest fan of grubs, and since they were the winning team, that probably checks out. Right. That stands to reason. Just keep camping bottom lane. Much better at that. Pop Daisy. You saw how annoying in a lot of those tower dives it was. Even though Contractz is at 200 HP, you can't really enter it. Just pops Daisy over the wall. Daisy gets in there, does the dirty work.
Oh boy, speaking of doing the dirty work, let's see what happens to Bwipo down here. Dhokla's ready to go in on him. Bwipo trying to get away. Kite these guys out a little bit. Dhokla goes all out. Palafox provides the damage and they kill him before we can dunk. The Darius pick not working out the way they were hoping, at least not with the rest of the map collapsing as it has. FBI just defending the top lane tier 1, but man, FlyQuest are having...
That's the most tragic part about this game. We didn't even get to like test this Darius pick. It's not your fault at all, Darius pick. The game is a classic top lane looking at the rest of the map, and
it is what
everything is on fire. You're trying to tell the team this is fine, come back, you know.
Do you need a TP? I don't have it, so I can't help you out there.
I took those.
I can't get you, so Corki,
you need a TP?
That.
Well, too bad. If you need a TP, please call my friend Corki over in mid lane. Hopefully he can help you. I'm going to be down here fighting K'Sante for the next 20 minutes. 6,000 gold lead for NRG. Baron on the table here in about 45 seconds. I mean... All right, Kobe, Mr. FlyQuest super fan. What's the play? What do you do other than hope that FlyQuest, or other than hope that NRG turn their computers off?
I'm praying to my god Jensen. Jensen, you know, he's one of the best LCS mid laners of all time. He's got the stage experience. He always remains focused. He can scale. He's on the Corki. His Muramon is about to transform really soon here, so buy him some time to get 3 items, and then then we'll talk. I'll tell you. We'll check back in.
We have to have
check back in later.
3-item Corki in order for this to work. Okay, so hopefully Jensen can get that evolution on the Muramana here real fast. He's already got the Eclipse, so plenty of poke power on this dude.
Yeah, you know what's really annoying is that this freaking Ivern is going to shield so much of my poke that we're gonna say Contractz is gonna have some really bad positioning and just be away from the rest of the team, and we're gonna poke some people down without shields. How about that?
All right, NRG's stepping up to take out the tier 1 turret up here in the top side. The only one of the tier 1s left standing for FlyQuest. The game's looking very heavily in NRG's favor right now. Let us know who you want us to interview if NRG can lock this away, like they seemingly should be able to. Dhokla, Contractz, or Palafox, lots of good choices there.
Or Jensen.
What?
True.
Anything can happen, Flowers.
He's on energy.
Yeah, I'm the FlyQuest super fan, buddy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Keep your options open, Flowers.
Okay, all right. We've got a couple of FlyQuest faithful here on the caster desk, but it's NRG starting up the Baron before 21 minutes. They are daring FlyQuest to come and meet them in open ground. Baron already down to about half HP. Remember, NRG also has Kalista. That's a lot of control over this as Dhokla goes over the wall. He's going to be trying to deal with Inspired, keep him away, guarantee this fight securing the objective. There it is. Inspired's already dead too. He had to try to go in and do something, but all he did was die. Massu's your next target as Huhi's into the back line. A double kill over to Palafox as Busio falls. Jensen in the back. Jensen in the dirt. And NRG absolutely rolling. And Palafox gets done. Nice shot over the wall coming in from Massu to help Bwipo get it done. But now Bwipo's got to be careful. Huhi chasing after Massu as FBI can just kite Bwipo straight to hell. And there it is. The ace plus Baron for NRG.
That was the fight NRG were looking for. If you look at the red side jungle for FlyQuest, it was littered. So they had full vision of where Inspired was. Congrats to Huhi to just be able to go Rell ulti straight on towards him to stop him to even getting in the pit. And then, of course, Cassante made it a little bit tougher there. So couldn't even get a chance for a smite steal.
Today is the day of destruction for our lossless teams. C9 being upset previously, and now 3-0 FlyQuest getting crushed by NRG.
I think this is probably a good time to remind you that multiple members of FlyQuest said that NRG winning last year was a fluke. It looks like NRG took that personally.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is a really good Baron. Of course, they're super far ahead, but they've got Ivern Brush to help them, plus they have Kalista Ren, so really good job securing it first. Bwipo going to get the slowdown and the little chunk onto Palafox, allowing for the execute from Massu's arrow to come over the top, but it didn't really change anything.
Right.
And NRG now full control of Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, and as you can see, just cackling to himself. This was just the game that NRG needed. Even in their wins, there were a few close games. The 100 Thieves one in particular. The interviews from NRG players talked about how they just needed some time to ramp up. Well, it feels like they're ramped up.
And I just feel like this is such a perfect Ivern game. Just snapshot Contractz right now. 0 deaths. Almost all of them are assists here. He only took 2 kills, probably Daisy or something on accident. Not my fault. He's got the fully stacked Dark Seal. Multiple support items here with the synergy. Redemption coming in to try and end it.
Yeah, we're just looking to end the game here on NRG's side. Huhi on the front line where he's been the entire game. Daisy's got 3,000 health, which is way more than Sejuani. As FlyQuest tries to... Look, man. I'll give you a red marker. You want to circle where I'm wrong, because there's not going to be no red on the screen.
Yeah, you know what's messed up? Daisy does have more health than Sejuani right now.
You're factually correct.
Well, NRG's not going to be able to end here just yet, but they did break through the base. They got the bot side inhibitor. They'll be able to push wherever the hell they want next. Palafox going over the wall looking for Bwipo. Massu's coming in, trying to reinforce. Palafox getting out of the way as Huhi locks down 3. Hostile takeover comes in. Palafox is low, but Dhokla and Huhi are ready to keep the fight going. Huhi has to disengage now so the bleed won't kill him. Massu and Busio still trying to run. Meanwhile, Dhokla continues pushing the fight forward, back in the enemy jungle. Jensen and Inspired going back to the base gate. Miraculously for FlyQuest, nobody's dead.
Yeah, that's always a good sign. And let me remind you of our game plan for FlyQuest, the scaling. So that's still the same game plan. That hasn't changed either.
At what point on the clock do you consider them scaled?
You mean like 20 more minutes?
Okay, so 45 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
We've seen some of those games happen. It happened in LEC today. Anything is possible, Flowers.
All right, man. All right, FlyQuest, let's see what you got, because right now NRG is securing their 3rd Drake of the game. They are on Soul Point now. They are 10,000 gold ahead. It is 2.5 minutes until the next Baron spawns. That enemy inhibitor is still going to be dead. You can compare the clocks. It's still about 60 seconds of super minion pressure after the Baron spawns. On the other side of the map, it's going to make it even easier for NRG to establish control over the pit and rush this one down too.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like NRG is skipping any steps on that one. When they were banging on the front doorstep of FlyQuest base, you saw Dhokla up topside. He had TP and everything, didn't want to overcommit. Was actually trying to stop the base from Jensen from happening to make it easier for his team, but just trying to keep pressure in all 3 lanes here to make it so FlyQuest doesn't have any really possibilities here. So that being said, if you look into the red side jungle for FlyQuest, they do have a lot of defensive wards there. So when NRG start to push through the top side of the map, they will be seen. I just don't know which ward they're going to be able to fight for. Answer, I think none.
Yeah, I mean, NRG just has such a good Baron setup with this composition. We already talked about it earlier, but the Ivern brush helps so much, and you've got the Rend from Kalista to be able to combo with your smite, so your secure should be super good. Then you also have a really good turn, because Huhi Rell, it makes him so bold when he's got a Kalista ultimate. So the turn around off of Baron, trying to pincer FlyQuest, if FlyQuest come up to try and poke around while NRG are doing it, is deadly.
Yeah.
So they just have really trump cards all around it. And then if you're trying to say, oh, hey, FlyQuest, Kobe was talking about the poke damage and the scaling, you know, the Ivern shields are going to take care of most of that poke damage that does come through. And he's got the Moonstone on him as well. So it's just like all of the kind of threats and questions that FlyQuest are trying to pose to NRG to make them stop is they're already answered.
Yeah, speaking of shields, just to be able to see the Edge of Night and the Banshee spell, like, I do think Poke can take him off pretty easily, but just makes it really really tough for Inspired to find any ulti options. If you're Inspired in this game, not really, no real chances for engages here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess your best bet is like the Ivern. Try and find your way there, but Contractz has good positioning, you know, just stay behind the front line. Huhi has been so good at getting these engages or even counter engages even when FlyQuest have an angle. So here he is again, looking for a little bit of a flank down mid lane. Of course, Azir's kind of far, so probably not going to pull the trigger just yet.
Well, he thought about it for a second, but not going to go all the way on that one. The package is ready. Jensen,
okay.
Maybe a big delivery is what they need right here.
Sell this package for me.
I am not part of the FlyQuest fan club on this one, man. I don't think these guys have much of a chance in this game state. So I think that package is going to be just chucked onto the porch all the way from the side of the road. I don't think it's going to land where it needs. Huhi with a massive engage to the Magnet Storm, and Jensen gets absolutely melted. The rampage for Huhi's going to lead the way as Inspired will burn down Contractz. FBI and Daisy all working together to chase after him. It's already 2 dead bodies in FlyQuest jerseys. Make it 3 as Massu falls to the Intofos of Dhokla. Only 2 left standing on FlyQuest. Bwipo finally chops down the tree, but it will cost him his own life to do it. FBI's on a killing spree with only Inspired still standing. Yes, he'll go back to the base, but I think NRG is going for the game ender.
Yeah, they're looking for it now. Huhi was angling, looking, waiting for an engage option, knowing that Busio and Massu did not have flash just yet. Great look at flash timers, and this should just be it.
This is FBI and Huhi's 206th game together, and massive, massive bot lane diff is going to get NRG another dub.
Lucky number 206. NRG going to hand FlyQuest their first loss of 2024. They're going to do it with 24 kills in 28 minutes, and they're going to look good.
All right, who are you guys going for? I'm going to go for Huhi. I feel like Huhi, FBI, Contractz, all kind of possibilities.
Yeah. Lots of possibilities for any of them, really. I think I have to give it to Huhi as well. All of the engages, all of the moments. The fact that he walked away, I still do not know. This is not normal gaming. Someone check him monitor down there in that bottom lane. That was incredible that he lived in that play. Honestly, just awesome showing from the entirety of the team. Even Dhokla, when we were talking about top lane, just really not being involved in the overall scheme of the game for the first while. Once he finally got involved, 2-1-7, had a good performance too.
Exactly. I mean, even his laning phase felt good. Overall, you have to feel good if you're a fan of NRG. Taking a grand scope of just the standings right now, with Cloud9 being taken down, FlyQuest being taken down, people looking at NRG a little bit crossed. Now all these 3 teams are tied. All of them are looking quite good. it makes me excited to see more games from all 3 of them.
And we just saw up there Tanner on stage with the FlyQuest members. You know, he's the performance coach, the motivational coach. Look like they still have a good attitude about it. You were even referencing Bwipo yesterday. Yeah. Even though they won, they were all reviewing and what went wrong, what they could have done better in that game. This one, of course, is going to have a lot more instances to look at. But yeah, I definitely expect that team, this FlyQuest squad, they're so hungry, they're so motivated to continue to be one of the top of the table teams. And nice move here from NRG to even up that score. Now both of them with 1 loss apiece.
And this game has to be reviewed like 10 times over from everyone, just because I was just enjoying how well they were able to just snowball off the Kalista play. So congratulations to them.
Awesome game from NRG, and now it's time to join Emily and Contractz on stage for an interview.
That is right. I'm here with Ivern enjoyer Contractz. I'm also an Ivern enjoyer. I want you to talk me through the early game, because I thought your response to Bwipo's Darius coming, ghosting, finding out where you were, was really good. So just talk me through your preparation, what you expected to do in the early game.
Yeah, depending on where he started, I got a Raptor level 1 ward, so like if he started topside, then I'd probably invade bot. But I mean, messing with an Ivern level 1 isn't really too good, because like it doesn't really delay me that much in the end. I mean, it kind of messes me a little bit. I lost my flash, but he went for the bot gank level 2, which is kind of just game losing for him. So yeah, I mean, he kind of just lost the game level 2. I don't really know.
When you take into consideration when a lot of North American teams struggle around not just a Kalista lane, but generally like pushing bot lanes or lanes where you expect to take full dominant control of the bot side of the map, we tend to see teams struggle. NRG absolutely did not struggle with that today. So what was your secret?
I mean, I think our bot lane just has a really good idea of like their dive windows and communicate well around it. And they make it pretty easy for me, honestly. I mean, I kind of just show up and they're just level 1. So, I mean, it's pretty easy. I think working with them is like, we all have like a lot of aggression, and we're not going to hold back when we see these angles to take advantage of.
One thing that I have always appreciated about Huhi is that not only is he willing to slam certain picks in bot, but he is a very aggressive player a lot of the time too, especially trying to get 2v2s in bot lane. So what's it been like adding him to the pre-existing championship core?
Yeah, he's great. I think he adds a lot of calculated aggressiveness to our team that we didn't have before. Before we were like a little bit more sporadic. We kind of like do things on the fly, but like just a little bit more messy than usual. But he adds a lot of like structure to the aggressiveness. So I think we're just kind of learning how to like balance it all.
Okay. And then finally, obviously, there was a little bit of chatter coming into today's game about you facing off against FlyQuest, how a few of their players said that maybe your championship win was a fluke. Do you have anything to say about that?
I guess today was a fluke too, huh?
Oh, there you go. Thank you so much, Contractz. It's always great to talk to you.
Thank you, thank you.
We will see you guys on the other side of the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
You ready?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, just remember, stay in your lane, keep your vision up at all times. Time is going to be everything here. So you don't want to go too fast, but you also don't want to be...
Hey, I got this.
Yeah, I think you do.
And Mark, thanks.
Whoa, hey, no, whoa, no. You're not taking my car. My Kia EV9? No way. No touching!
言葉なくした星の守りでは時の果て夢の果て闇に立ちすくんだ風を呼んでみたんだ空に向けて誰かを呼んでみたんだ光求めたソリチュードかすかなレゾナンス確かに届くロマンスそんな流れ星たちを抱き留めたはずが見えなくだって乗り越えなくちゃって奇跡の奇跡描き未来へつなぐ Growing High 心のフォトンが銀河にこぼれて道を強く照らすバニーブラそれぞれの思い秘めた星の守り手は空からの呼ぶ声に導かれた重ねる手と手には言葉なんかより伝わることがある熱い心通じ合った確かなレゾナンス見つけるのはエッセンス目指した意識の先がディスティネーション答えが見えなくてくじけそうになって支え合い誓い合う絆でつなぐシャイニースマイル心のフォトンが銀河に溢れて道を開く鍵は My Starlight Heart明日が見えなくだって乗り越えなくちゃって奇跡の奇跡描き